you behind me. Na 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 na. I'll keep going, nothing can stop me. Na 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 na.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this impromptu live stream. No mic. Amy crying today, disappointed. Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. I was going to do that press conference tonight because I don't think I'm going to get the chance to do it Saturday. I mean, maybe we will, because so far I haven't heard back too much from Josh about showing up on Saturday, but I'm still holding out hope that we can get this together, because I think it'll be a very interesting discussion with people who are actually in the oil industry, talking with Josh and ourselves and a whole cast of people. I think it would be very educational for people to learn about the oil industry, and a lot of fun, I get the feeling. But tonight's a little different. I've got a whole lineup of things. As I was going live, breaking news. Very breaking news. Bill Pulte is still a fucking idiot. I don't know if you knew this, guys, but Bill Pulte is still a fucking idiot. You didn't miss much. Yeah, I didn't miss a whole lot of it, because I came in and out from work and got to listen to some of it, and oh boy, most of it I haven't gotten to see, and we'll go over some of that. But just broke by Politico at 7, so about an hour ago. Bill Pulte, surprise, surprise, was the one who pitched to Trump going after and investigating Jerome Powell. Who could have guessed this? You mean the fucking dumbass who'd gotten Trump sold on the past couple of indictments that have fallen on their fucking face came up with this stupid fucking idea too? I mean, I'm just so fucking shocked at this point. So absolutely fucking shocked. Look at it's painted on my face. I am so surprised. Absolutely surprised. What's even more funny is that the White House is mad at Bill Pulte because he was the leaker. Guys, I want to tell you something about Bill Pulte. Bill Pulte really loves stroking his ego, and he likes the idea of his name being in the news and all this stuff. Like again, the White House should not be fucking surprised that the leak came from the inside, that Bill Pulte was the one who did the leak, because of course fucking Bill Pulte leaked it. Like, he can't keep his mouth shut for 5 fucking seconds. And like I posted on X, like, he is his biggest self fucking snitch. Like, if he thinks that he can get ahead by saying something, he'll do it. I swear, I think Pulte is trying to get into onto the Fed board. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I think Bill Pulte is just, as we say in the wrestling business, going into business for himself at this point. Like, everything he's doing is just, to try and further Bill's ends while he's in office. Tonight's show, because I like local beers. I'm not a big beer person, but I do like a good, you have some sort of citrusy kind of. This one is Tang Party by from Manhattan Brew Company. Tangerine plus Cascade Dry Hop Sour. It's delicious. I've already tried a can. First live stream was brutal. No faces for speakers. Music behind. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll get to it. I at least caught some of that. Some other news. We'll probably get to this Saturday, too. But apparently, we had mentioned, I think, a couple streams back that Honey was starting to get smacked after the 2 most recent Mega Lag videos exposed that Honey was screwing everybody, not just, content creators. Not that I'm popular enough to, be getting ad revenue or making money off Honey sponsorships or anything like that, but they Rakuten, I assume that's some sort of Roku subsidiary, terminated their partnership with Honey, which includes a lot of different companies in that whole partnership. As you can see here, some of Honey's biggest clients that were with Rakuten were Rakuten, I think, Walmart, Newegg, Sephora, UGG, Legos. Yeah, like this is not a small deal for them. This kind of sucks real hard for them. I wonder if that has had. I doubt it has done much to PayPal's share price, but I mean, while we're here, why don't we just take a look over there at PayPal? Oh, wow, that was actually down today. How's it been doing recently? Yikes. That's not good. Down 20% in the last 6 months. Yeah, that tracks. But yeah, that was that story as far as Megalag. What is PayPal's ticker? Is that like pay? Be something cheesy like that. PYPL. Okay, good to know. Something to keep track of as I guess this continues to develop. Last we left off, of course, we had Ann Vandersteel, and we found out that she's a Pizzagate conspiracy theorist, tried to weasel her way into the Trump administration, and they have distanced themselves from her, which I think is kind of funny because, like the whole thing that was being pitched to the MMTLP crowd was that Ann was gonna have Donald Trump's ear, and that's definitely not the fucking case. It couldn't be further from the truth that Ann has any sway at the White House. You might say she has negative sway with the Trump administration, which makes all this really, really super funny. We also learned more about her the person who's writing the book with her. This Marine Steele apparently is some sort of far-right militia type, which, yeah, that's interesting. What's also kind of funny is the promotional material into this. Like, I didn't get to watch hardly any of this while I was at work, and so I was just noticing some of the abject, horrible marketing for this whole event that was going on. First, can you guess what the problem here is with all these links? Because I can tell you what the problem is pretty easily. They may not be the same link, but they're all LinkedIn links. So they all went to her LinkedIn video, not to YouTube or Rumble or Getter. I've never heard of Getter or Facebook or Twitter or any of these other things. So it's just there were signs that this live stream was going to be horrible. Like, for instance, oh yeah, this was the other one I was looking for. This was on YouTube. Not only did they accidentally make 2 live streams for some reason, one that is perfectly fine like this, and the other one which looks like shit. Like, this is what you had, like, when I first looked at this live stream, this is what I was looking at on my, when I was looking at it at work, and I'm like, is this what they're doing? Is this what it looks like? And I had to check some of the other sites afterwards and check back after the live stream was over and figured out that no, they just fucked up, and for some reason, there was a dual live stream, and it was really weird. And then, on top of all of that, like, it was just a comedy of errors. So what we're going to do, because I do want to kind of get to a few other things. So what we're going to do, we're gonna make playback speed like 1.5. We'll call it that. And there's some other after show stuff that we'll get to. The live chat was also, so the live chat was also pretty buggy. Is that what you're saying? Well, I'll keep an eye on that if I can. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to put my glasses on so I can actually read some of the chat while we're going along, because I get the feeling this is going to be extra fucking hilarious. All right, let's let her rip. I've got some popcorn. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. Absolutely. Okay, okay, before we even get started here, why are we going live while like this was a big problem at like the first two Pulte events. Why are we going? Well, okay. The reason is they wanted a clean set for the helicopter to come in without camera interference. So at least that makes sense. You didn't want the set to block the shot for the helicopter entrance. Okay. Still could have been done better. Like maybe make the stage against the wall, and then all you had to do was point the camera out the hangar and then follow them and then reveal the stage. That would have been a better shot. But, you know, whatever. I guess this works too. So the next, so like, why are we going live when the crew is clearly still setting shit up? This is already looking bad. I'm glad they put the screensaver up. Also, this like 90s video game generic rock music is... Oh, I know! Absolutely. We haven't even gotten started on some of the absolute dumb shit that happens. Please help. I feel like I'm trapped on some like PlayStation era menu for some video game that's trying to be way too edgy.
And then we're pretty much done.
I think rubbing my axe is the only one. Look at the massive crowd, the reflection on the glass. Oh, we'll get to that. My first time watching full stream, same here. Show of hands in the group here. How many members of the press do we think are at this event? Some people, please do not don't ruin it if you know the answer here. But like, then again, the answer is pretty, I think, obvious. If you guess a number larger than 0, you're wrong.
Yeah. Everybody?
I really also think that I need to go back and do what I did with the second Pulte event and do a counter of how many loops of the generic rock song that we got during this live stream. Alrighty, here we go. With the rock music still going. Alright, we got the faces of MMTLP pictures. Great.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Securities and Exchange Commission, otherwise known as the Scene of the Crime. I'm Ann Vandersteel, and I'm the co-founder of the American Made Foundation and American Made Action, along with my wonderful partner, Maureen Steele. I also host Steele News, which is streaming this press conference today, where my work has been focusing on the regulatory failure, institutional corruption, and accountability following the paper trail, where agencies charged with protecting the public...
For the record, it goes like this for a while before they figure it out.
Writer. She is here today as a documentarian to cover the stories.
Uh-oh. Marantz is going to have some competition because Ann's got a book that she needs to sell to these... the grift has already started. Why is the music still playing? That's a great question. Next question. Yes, I heard about the bunny ears. We'll get to that too.
What happens to people because of this institution we're standing in front of? While I'm here to report on what the regulators did, what rules were broken, and who benefited, Maureen will gather those very important stories on the human cost, families, the veterans, the retirees, and small business owners whose lives were disrupted and destroyed by what you're about to hear.
I love how we still have, like, the low bar on Windows 11 is still fucking visible at the bottom, guys. You do know that you can do, like, full screen mode and not see any of that shit. Like, this is such a fucking low rent production. It's pathetic. And also, you can tell that the audio isn't being synced into some sort of central audio source so that it is direct feed into the direct feed into the cameras. This audio is being piped in on some sort of speaker that is then being picked up by this garbage camera they're using, which is, I'm gonna put it out on a limb there. I'm pretty sure it's probably a cell phone. And so we get this kind of half-assed audio. Oh yeah, probably some sort of stupid medbed scam or something too. I'm just like, this is it. Like, the whole reason she's doing this is to grift these people. Like, if that wasn't obvious.
Two perspectives will give you the full truth. We're standing here in front of the Securities and Exchange Commission for a reason. We are here because by their own words, by their own documents, and their own communications, the SEC and FINRA engaged in conduct that enabled and then concealed a scheme that defrauded tens of thousands of investors in a stock that never should have been allowed to trade in the first place.
Never should have been allowed to trade in the first place. Yeah, that would be, like, so she's got all the lies and talking points right here to start us off. Like, why would you securitize it if it wasn't meant to trade? And why would you get accused of it if it wasn't meant to trade? And if it wasn't meant to trade, then why did the chief insiders that held it sold it? Like, there's just so much dumb stuff in this MMTLP narrative that's so hilarious.
Let me explain how I became involved. On December 8th, I received a call from an MMTLP investor. That call was not about market risk or a bad trade. It was about frozen assets, missing shares, regulators refusing transparency, and a system that appeared to be protecting...
Like, the assets aren't frozen. They're just non-trading. And that's a choice that NextBridge made. They haven't gotten accused of for the security, so it doesn't trade. So, like...
...instead of the public. That call made it clear this was not an isolated market event. It was another chapter in a much larger
there's the chat. Turn down the music.
Capture, agency corruption, and Americans being systemically stripped of their rights and property. Now let's ground this in facts. From 2014 to 2022, a series of corporate actions involving Torchlight Energy, metamaterials, and NextBridge hydrocarbons unfolded. In 2014, Torchlight executives identified unexplained discrepancies in short interest. In June of 21, Torchlight Energy issued a non-tradable Series A preferred
I didn't even know about that. Some guy on his scooter just rolls in front of their press conference. Like he... Fucking brilliant. Yes.
Reverse merger with metamaterials. This dividend was intended solely as a placeholder for the eventual spin-off of legacy oil and gas assets not explicitly marked for trade. Despite the
Oh man, maybe I should get a mic drop counter going because my understanding is they dropped that mic quite a few times. Oh my goodness, we're like, what, 9 minutes in and this thing is just completely falling apart. Amazing. What's Mike Amy's grift? GoFundMe? Yeah, just basically begging people for money, e-begging. That's Michael's entire grift. You know, he isn't even talented enough to get a job at the fucking Mickey D's, or thinks that's so beneath him, which is pretty fucking hilarious. So yeah, he has to e-beg people on the internet for money.
that the Series A preferred dividend not trade, a broker-dealer, not the issuer, submitted a Form 211 to FINRA requesting over-the-counter OTC quotations. FINRA approved that request, assigned a ticker, enabling public OTC trading in a security that was never authorized by the issuer, never registered by the SEC, and structurally incapable of a lawful settlement. Under SEC Rule 15C211, FINRA had a duty to reject the quotation of a restricted dividend issued solely
Cameraman needs to be fired. Yeah. Agreed. I don't think there's a cameraman. I think it's just a cell phone on a fucking...
58 consecutive days followed by another 75 consecutive days. Let me translate this into plain English for those of you that don't understand.
The camera. Yeah, that ain't
When someone
happening.
sells a stock, they're legally required to deliver the shares to the buyer.
At this point, the chat's more interesting because you can barely hear Ann over the music.
An occasional failure can occur, but when a security
Music's
search
still
does
on.
failure to
Stop the
deliver
music.
day after day for months, that is one of the strongest indicators that shares are being sold without
This
being
is so
borrowed
embarrassing.
or without existing at all. Commonly known as naked short selling.
Wait, what
In
was that?
MMTLP case, this is a
Sorry,
difference that
this
never
chat's
commonly
moving
indicates
so
that
fast,
shares are
there's
being
something
sold
funny
without
there.
being borrowed.
Funny how the the so-called leaders of the community who host the spaces are not there. Not even one. Not even George or Berta. Yeah. That is a great point. Not a single fuck could be spent on this. And to be fair, probably the best for their reputation. Yeah, no Bill Pulte either. Probably the best thing for their reputation too. Because, like, imagine being associated with this clusterfuck. This is even more low rent than Pulte, like, Baggy Con 1. Where their audio was horrible. I'm pretty sure the audio from that first Pulte event is better than this shit.
Or without existing at all. Commonly known as naked short selling. In MMTLP case, this is a dividend that was never intended to trade and could not be borrowed. Those persistent failures to deliver were red flags regulators could not ignore. In November of 22, the SEC approved a spin-off of the reverse merger by to a company called Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, established December 12, 2022 as the final trading day for MMTLP. That approval meant anyone who legitimately owned MMTLP at the
Fix
close
the
of
camera,
trading
people.
was entitled to
What's
receive
wrong with the
shares
camera? I think
of the
it's
Next Bridge
fine.
Hydrocarbons spin-off. When FINRA halted
The
trading
audio
early
is the
December
real
9th,
problem.
That final share reconciliation never occurred, leaving investors frozen and the company with an unbalanced shareholder ledger. In December 5th of 2022, FINRA internally flagged concerns of potential fraud related to that short.
Yeah, and there you thought the music was done. Nope, just a loop.
FINRA ultimately altered the established trading timeline and contradicted the SEC approved prospective draft method technical tool under Rule 5490. FINRA imposed what is known as an extraordinary event. It's a huge recall, freezing more than 65,000 investors, preventing short positions from being closed and delivering an unbalanced ledger to a non-traded private company. These positions remain unresolved today. Why are we here? These are
Can't
FINRA's
hear.
own words.
Turn off the
It
music.
described its mission this way, and I quote, this is on their website. FINRA's mission is to protect investors.
Like,
and
at what
safeguard the
point,
interests of
like,
migrant-
this is so clear that there's no one manning the chat. Because at what point does someone in tech realize 12 almost 13 minutes in that you have a problem with the music still playing? Like...
capital markets to ensure that everyone can invest with confidence. FINRA says it writes and enforces rules protecting information.
Why is no one telling her? Yeah, because no one's looking at the chat.
Yet in the case of MMTLP, FINRA did the opposite. Instead of protecting investors, they enabled unauthorized trading to ignore bounty settlement failures.
Sabotage!
Corporate actions ultimately halted trading in a way that protected short positions while trapping the good American and worldwide investors. FINRA is a private, member-funded, self-regulatory organization. They're not even a government agency. Its board includes industry members from Wall Street, whose firms had direct exposure to MMTLP at the time of the halt. That conflict matters. Why was this youth recall so illegal? Well, FINRA attempted to justify its actions under Rule 6490. So Rule 6490 does not authorize...
He needed all hands to stand behind her to give an appearance of a crowd. Oh, there's more... There's more to that story, and I don't know if we'll see it rubbing my axe, but my understanding is that their little screen stand back there was so shitty that they had to stand back there to keep it upright, and that the minute that they left, that thing fell over. So, yeah. Quality work.
It doesn't eliminate counterparty obligations. It doesn't convert unsettled shares into non-transferable positions. It's not supposed to shield brokers, market makers, or clearing firms from volumes or even override the SEC regulations show. Regulations show, as they show,
Oh, man.
SEC rule that prohibits selling shares short unless they can be borrowed and delivered. In MMTLP, that rule was repeatedly violated for months without enforcement. In MMTLP...
Now she finally figures out that the music is still going. Oh my goodness. What are we, like 14 and a half minutes in? Oh my god.
In MMTLP, the issuer action had already occurred. The settlement obligations already existed.
There we go.
Counterparties were identifiable.
Finally fixed it.
prevented forced closeouts of broker-dealers and market makers that had
Jesus
sold shares
Christ.
they didn't possess. Shielding them from mandatory buy-ins under regulation show, as a result, investors who unknowingly purchased short or synthetic shares, believing they were buying legitimate equity, were left holding positions that could not be reconciled or delivered. In the broader context, this is not unique to MMTLP. This was seen with GameStop, with AMC, with Bed Bath & Beyond.
Now comes the next interference, because there is an active construction site next to the building, and it'll become increasingly obvious as this event goes along.
Devin Nunes, the CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, has publicly referenced MMTLP.
It was a boombox? How did they not know then? I thought it was just piped in the background, and that's why they didn't know. How, if you had a boombox fucking going, how did you not know? Oh my god.
Warnings about abusive naked short selling and regulatory failure. Naked short selling distorts equities, undermines commodities like silver, and drains value from the real economy while regulators issue fines, call it enforcement, and allow institutions to keep their ill-gotten gains. So why does this matter? Because what happened to MMTLP investors was not market risk. It was a failure of duty, a conflict of interest, and based on FOIA-released communications, coordination between regulators and the very firms they're supposed to oversee. I am here to report the regulatory facts. Maureen, my co-founder, is here to meet and gather your stories on the human cost. Together, you're going to get the full story. And before I transition to speakers, I want to recognize one of the thousands of special peoples and families harmed by this irregular U3 halt. The Zdonek family reached out to me immediately.
Wait, what was that image? They put the text thing in there, and instead of closing it out, they took a screen cap with the... Explain that one to me. What? Like, this is a resize tool if you were in some sort of, like, Photoshop or some sort of thing like that. Some sort of photo editor to put the text in. But instead of, like, clicking and closing it out and saving the photo, you left it there and then took a screen cap for some unbeknownst fucking reason. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you ever do that?
It's a regular U3 halt. The Zdonek family reached out to me immediately after I started talking about MMTLP.
Pieces of MMTLP.
I received a Christmas card, a drawing, and a letter from the family. And I also received this fantastic dog tag representative of everybody in the MMTLP family, and I wear it every single day as a reminder.
I'm sure.
I want to show you what this beautiful little girl, 8-year-old Ava, has drawn, and I've gotten several pictures from her.
Ah, yes, Ava. Yeah, we talked about that during one of our previous live streams about Dude Bro, who got his little children to make MMTLP videos about how daddy flushed all their money down the fucking toilet because he's a dipshit. And now they can't have Christmas presents because daddy's a fucking retard. And then they put these kids out on these videos and slap them on social media to use his children as fucking props. And now it's continuing. Oh, look, little Ava made me this drawing. Isn't that so cute? God, fuck these people.
But this is a child with a brother and a wonderful family, Jay and Heather Zdonek, whose family has been absolutely devastated by the amount of money they lost. And their children, at their young age...
Maybe don't invest all your money in a fucking insolvent shitco OTC stock. Fuck.
...of 8, understand the calamity that this has caused. This is affecting families all over the world, but we know of 65,000 Americans, and that's what we know of. And we know of that because of the internet. We know of that because...
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. They got to that 65,000 number by counting all the other family members that were affected but never actually owned a single fucking share of MMTLP. Sure.
Because of social media. The MMTLP family is one like I've never experienced on the internet. This group of people are organized, they're determined, they're lawful, and they're doing what we all should be doing. It's their civic duty, and they are governing. They're coming together, and they're holding the regulators responsible for their completely unlawful actions, the ignorance of their own statutory law, and the fact that they've ruined lives to protect the people on Wall Street who stole from the investors. Imagine walking into a bank and stealing $1 million, and when you get out, somebody comes up and says, "Shame on you. If you pay me $100 in a fine, you can get off scot-free."
Yeah, that's not how that works, but cool story, bro.
Wouldn't you do that trade every single day? That's what Wall Street did to MMTLP, and it's going to stop. So without further ado, I understand we had some technical issues in the beginning, and I apologize about that, but I want to just, recap a little bit, because this MMTLP story, just for the folks that couldn't hear in the beginning, involved going back to 2014, and two companies that decided to merge, and when they did...
Good news, Daddy could at least afford crowns.
And did a reverse merger. They spun out a Series A dividend called MMTLP. And that dividend was positioned for those members who owned MMTLP stock to get a share of a company called NextBridge Hydrocarbons, which was coming from the reverse merger. And when NextBridge Hydrocarbons filed their securities, their S1 license or their S1 paperwork with the SEC, the market makers, Wall Street, the broker-dealers got together and said, "Oh my goodness, we have sold so many fake shares of MMTLP in the last year and made millions or billions of dollars doing it, that there's no way they can get those fake shares to transfer to the new NextBridge Hydrocarbon spin-out, and they were going to get caught with their pants down in naked short selling, illegal." So they petitioned through their own trade association, FIF. They sent emails, and we have copies of those emails, basically explaining, "Hey, we have naked short sold this particular ticker. We're going to get caught."
Nowhere was that said.
So the SEC held up the S1 filing. Because what the S1 filing was going to do, it was going to request all the shares of MMTLP to come home under the own transfer agent of the new company coming out, NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and that transfer agent would be able to match up the existing shares to a new NextBridge Hydrocarbon share. But because so many synthetic fake shares were sold, there was no way to do that. So the Wall Street companies, petitioned the SEC, and we have the email, to stop that S1. That is what's going on in this institution right here. That is not representative of you. That is not protecting you. So I'd like to turn this over now to our next speaker, because standing behind me are victims of the MMTLP fiasco.
Okay. Michael isn't a victim of anything other than the fact that clearly he was dropped on his head as a child. But okay, sure.
In front of me is the MMTLP army. It's the most exceptional group of people I've ever seen. They are truly the government of...
I don't know if you can call 20 people an army. Like... I've seen images. Let me see here. We've got some footage. We have some footage that we can work with here. I don't know about you guys, but
as a documentarian to cover the...
Kill the audio here. So yeah, there's the front. There we got some people there. Yeah, like 30 maybe, being generous. 20. I'll let you guys put your guesses in the chat here, but like, I don't know if you could call that an army. You can barely call it a company, maybe.
This country, and they're doing it efficiently, lawfully, and frankly quite beautifully. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Brings tears to my eyes. I'd like to introduce Michael, AME on X, to come up and stand with me now and give us his story.
Here we go. Welcome to Crazy Town.
All right, it's great to be here.
Michael does not own a single fucking share of MMTLP. He is a Bed Bath & Beyond baggie, among others. So why he is here talking about MMTLP is a great question. I hope Michael will answer it during his speech as to why the fuck he's here, or why anyone should bother to listen to him. I'm sure he'll give us a great answer as to that question.
Amazing people. For anyone who doesn't know, has never heard of MMTLP, you might... Where trucks go by. So for anyone who hasn't heard about MMTLP, you might be tempted to think like, oh, this is just a random stock. Who cares? Companies disappear all the time. But it's actually not true. There is
Turn
this
up the
affects
mic,
everyone,
yeah.
right? Most people are out there working hard, and we're told to build a 401k, right? And for example, there was a switch between when you used to get annuities when you retired, and they switched that to 401ks. And
So there has to be. Where's the speaker? Because there was some feedback there, so they had to have had the, or I mean the. Where's the? Yeah, where's the speakers at? Or is it the feedback because he's got the lapel mic and the podium mic?
And there was a lot of media to try and say that was a great thing, but really it opened up the door for a lot of fraud. And you know what you see now with this MMTLP group and other investors like me, I actually am not an MMTLP shareholder. I've just found that they're fighting the same good fight as I am, and so I stand shoulder to shoulder with them. But the people you see here today, these are the people that are doing the job for all the.
Yeah, this is probably the funniest part. So we started off with not getting the audio right with the whole problem with the music still playing. Now we've lost audio to Michael's microphone, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing for like at least a couple minutes from here on in. I would like to know what Michael is saying here, but there's nothing. It has been lost to time.
Bed Bath & Beyond, GameStop.
Oh, there we go.
To get to know people in these different
And then we
stock
get it
industries
back.
like MMTLP, Bed Bath & Beyond, GameStop, to hear those individual stories, because it's something that's unbelievable. We kind of expect that the SEC and these different regulatory bodies are doing their job, because we go out and we do our job. We get fired if we don't do our job, right? But for them, if they don't do their job and they help criminals get away, they get a cushy job after they leave here, right? They go work for some hedge fund and make.
It's just like Michael on a live stream, like rambling, talking about nothing. It's so clear he has not even the beginnings of the clue about the MMTLP situation. So he's just gonna spend this entire time rambling about absolutely nothing and everything all at once.
Make lots of money, right? So the thing is for my story, for instance, I'd been working hard and I was working on a project and I had a little bit of money. I was like, you know what? While I'm working on this, I'm just gonna hopefully I'm gonna have this money work for me in the background. I bought a stock that I was really familiar with back in 2022. It was Intel, and I was surprised to find out like a week later it was announced that they were going to get billions of dollars from the government. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then the stock just tanked. And I called one of my friends from finance, and I was like, wait, what just happened? Wouldn't that be like good news? Like the company got more money. His answer didn't really make sense. So I started doing my own research and more research. And then, fast forward some time, I was trying to evaluate different companies, and the CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond came out, right? And we all know Bed Bath & Beyond. They were the biggest retailer for home goods. They were doing billions and billions of dollars of revenue. And she came out and said, we have a turnaround plan. We're going to reduce our store footprint. We're going to up our internet portion of our business. And I started doing some calculations. I was like, it's at like 35 cents right now. Compared to these other companies that are in a similar situation, it can be over $6 or $7. It was a very reasonable evaluation to make. Similarly with MMTLP, right? During
death spiral financing, keeping the company of billions. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that rubbing my axe, because when I heard that the first time, it's like billions in revenue, but how much in profit? Yeah, that's the part of the calculation that he kind of skips over because it's inconvenient for his stupid fucking argument. Also, like, all this money they had was from like death spiral financing and diluting the shit out of people like Michael. That's why it was trading at like 30 some odd cents, like he said. Like, these people, they can't read a balance sheet. They only want to read the good stuff. And so if the bottom number is red or negative, we're in the brackets, then they just read the top line number, and that's it.
COVID, people stopped driving, and gas prices went through the floor. And a lot of oil companies suffered. And people were smart and keyed into that. They're like, I'm going to buy these different oil companies. Some people bought different ones. And these people bought MMTLP. That was a really smart decision. The difference is they didn't know that there was going to be a level of collusion like unfathomable against them specifically, because
the collusion was John Berta and Greg McCabe and George Palikaris. That was the collusion. Like, the collusion. Hey, Manuel, we had one of your videos on earlier, your top secret infiltration of the MMTLP army. Hopefully you got out alive. Can you tell us a bit more about the part of the speech that we missed where Michael went deathly silent because of a microphone failure? I hope you preserved that part of the discussion or his speech for posterity, because it's lost to time as far as we're concerned, unfortunately. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, like, there was no oil. That was the problem. That's why the actual oil companies that had working oil wells and you know, had an actual oil wells that produced oil, their stock went back up, and MMTLP's is, well, his next bridge, it ain't doing so hot. So, yeah, again, like, if Michael could read, he'd be very angry.
They thought that we couldn't fight back. They thought that we would just, you know, move on. And little they know, 3 years later, here we'd be. So the thing is that we've been each one of these communities has been doing the work that the IC should be doing, and it's a lot harder for us because we don't have all the tools that they have, right? In the case of Bed Bath & Beyond, there was the CEO came out and had a turnaround
Why
story.
is Michael
and then literally
talking about Bed Bath & Beyond? This is supposed to be about MMTLP. Yeah, that's a great question, Jimmy Ricketts. That is a great fucking question. When I find the answer for you, I'll be sure to let you know.
Like weeks later, they go into bankruptcy, right? Even though they had an alternative route, and in the bankruptcy, the lawyers for the company said that the CEO had no idea what she was talking about and hadn't even been involved with the company in weeks. So, you know, luckily
fix
there has
the
been
camera.
some justice.
What's wrong with the camera? People keep saying fix the camera. Chat, is it what's wrong with the camera? Because I'm missing what the issue is. Other than, you know, it's probably a shitty cell phone camera. Like, I'm not seeing what the problem is.
That area, hopefully that goes through. But what the reason this is important is, you know, anyone who had a 401k, a lot of these stocks like Bed Bath & Beyond were a portion of that 401k. So when these
if you had any of these shitco's in your 401k, well, you're the reason why people can't pick anything other than index funds in their 401k. Like, if you had MMTLP in your IRA or your 401k, you're a fucking idiot. Cutting off the faces and the other streams. Oh yeah, because there's 2 streams and people got the. So what timestamp is this? 26.
So when these
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Looks good. Yeah, you got the best part. I didn't want to look at Michael's face anyway. Oh, I forgot about that completely. Yeah, I didn't either, because the one that YouTube was advertising was this one, because that's what everyone was going into. So I clicked on this and saw this janky fucking ass stream. Oh my goodness. Which I'm still trying to figure out why they had a dual stream. Why was that? Because this is obviously the same camera. This is the same camera angle. So what the fuck happened here? I want to know, because there's just so much of this whole event that was fucked up that just I have to take it apart and analyze it, just because it's just so fucked. All right. Mystery solved on why people were complaining about the video. Like, how do you even do that? Like, when I do my restream stuff, YouTube actively prevents me from having 2 live streams at the same time. Like, this, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. And they're so obviously using Restream. This here is like a Restream thing. And I don't know about that low bar. I assume if you pay more, you get that. And of course, this was definitely put in via Restream.
The companies were systematically targeted and cannibalized. It affects everyone, right? Your 401k did not go up, I guarantee, as much as any of these financial institutions, right?
Actually, I did pretty fine because I have VOO in my retirement fund and a handful of other stocks I've handpicked. But like the base level of my 401k is anchored by VOO, or my IRA is anchored by VOO. And to be honest, I have a pension plan. So like it's managed by people in Wall Street. So yeah, it is as good as they are doing, Michael, because I let professionals do things that I enjoy finance, but I'm not a finance professional. So I have a professional do my retirement for me as part of my company. I don't let, this retard, run my 401k for me. And funny enough, my 401k is doing fucking bangers.
They've been making money hand over fist, right? So the thing is that it's crazy to me that we're out here doing the heavy lifting, exposing the crime.
No, you're not.
Trying to get resolutions, trying to fix the things that have been intentionally broken so that the criminals can get away with murder. And yet,
sure.
The SEC, one of my friends actually did a FOIA, and he found out that they made after several different scandals, MMTLP, AMC, GameStop, when they turned off the buy button for GameStop, nothing happened to anyone, right?
God damn it, they are still banging on about that. Like, that is such just a absolute misunderstanding of what happened and why it happened. Don't use a shitty broker, and you wouldn't have the buy button taken away. It was taken away on Robinhood because you all were given free margin accounts, basically, and they didn't have the liquidity to support that. I had Fidelity. That's where I was trading on, and I have yet to ever have a buy button taken away. Use a real broker instead of a shitty fucking broker like Robinhood, and you will never have this problem. Stop fucking crying. It's been 4 fucking years. Use your brain and learn something.
And instead, what they did, instead of have...
It's about to be 5 years.
They paid $500,000 to make videos to make us look bad. The people who are actually doing their job for the American people, they made videos to make us look bad, and then paid lots of money to push it out to everyone. So
look, the SEC doesn't have to make videos to make you look bad, Michael. You do that pretty well on your fucking own.
That everyone, when they hear about this kind of things happening, they don't believe us. They think we're crazy, right?
Because you are crazy, Michael. You are.
There are a lot of really, really important fights going on, and if you don't know how big the crime is, all you have to do is a little bit of digging because it's everywhere.
Oh no, the suit jacket,
right?
same jacket he wore, yeah, same jacket he wore that doesn't fucking fit him from Plutefest 1.
Stop and they're like, oh, that's a meme stock. Well, why is it a meme stock? It's because there's so many people.
It's a meme stock. Well, first of all, meme stock is kind of a hard term to make, but originally it was a stock that was bad, but people intentionally bought into it for the lulz. Like BlackBerry, Nokia, things like that. But like, it's a meme stock because MMTLP is such an obvious shitco. The only reason you would buy into it is if you're an idiot or for just because it's funny. Well, I think he had the same jacket at 2 and 1, because I think he might have taken it off at Plutefest 1, but yeah, definitely 2, and it doesn't fucking fit him at all.
The fraud is so glaringly obvious.
Like, you can go to Walmart and get a suit jacket. Like, it's not hard. Just, I don't,
That when you...
I will say at least he knows how to tie a fucking tie. Maybe he can teach Bill Pulte how to tie a fucking tie sometime.
when you actually look into it, like it really makes you motivated, right? Because with GameStop, it was reported, right? Not all people. So there's a lot going on that there's you can borrow a share, right? There was reported short interest, right? For every one share that was supposed to exist, there was 3, right? Even just right now, there's an ETF called XRT, which has all the retail stores in it, right? For every one share, there's 3, and it's been that way for 6 years.
What? I might need to, reboot my brain. That was so fucking dumb. Like, what? I'm just gonna move on.
Years. How is that possible? Why even, when a company issues a certain number of shares, someone should be making sure that number is not being inflated, double, triple, quadruple, right? So the thing is that there's all this fraud.
They do.
And, none of us would have guessed.
Like, the same number of shares are in circulation. Like, I get that you don't like that hypothecation is a thing, but too fucking bad, bitch. You were given the rules when they are happen here, when you came into the system. A stock can be traded multiple times in a day, and moreover, since parties are blind to each other's motivations, I could have been sold a stock that was shorted. So, like, this is absolute just crybaby behavior from idiots who don't want to learn how the market works.
That the fraud went all the way to the top. We thought that maybe the SEC didn't believe us, but with the recent developments in MMTLP, they found that the collusion actually goes right into the SEC. That they were actually
They didn't, though. They really fucking didn't.
Colluding against us, which is unbelievable. And so this deserves a lot of attention, and it's going to help everyone. Everyone that has a 401k, all of America's companies.
No.
And so I'm glad to stand with all these people. Thank you very much.
Most Americans who have a 401k are setting in some version of the S&P 500 ETF, and they're doing just fine, and they don't even know who the fuck you people are. Just for the record.
Hey, okay. Next up, we have another veteran, Busy Brands. Come on, Busy.
Oh, there's the donut roll himself, Busy Brands. I know, right? Surprisingly enough, he didn't say Epstein. We can't confirm this 100% because remember, his mic dropped out. Maybe they, the Epstein rant started and they just cut out his mic. But, yeah, no Epstein. And he did say he wouldn't do that. And it was good, because if he did, that would have been very bad. He saved it for after the event. He saved his Epstein well, not Epstein, but his, anti-Semitic stupidity for after, where he made his post, which side are you on? If you don't know, then it's probably the Five Eyes International Spying Cabal, which I don't even know what the fuck. If you do know, you have probably been attacked by them. It's weird how much of the battlefield has moved to be online. If you want to see them show up, then mock their god, the Hegelian dialectic. What? I know where this is coming from, but let's get through this stupidity first. I remember the first time I brought up Hegel, I suddenly got PhDs from Harvard who work at GCHQ. He's talking about me, if you didn't know. Attacking me on the GME Meltdown subreddit. What a weird world to live in. Where does the market disclose this multiple rehypothecation in a day to when you buy a stock? By the fact that the stock trades more than the actual, you can have more volume in a day than there is actual stock in circulation because people are constantly trading. So you can have the same share trade multiple times in a day. That's how you logic that. It's just simply applying basic logic. So Michael, obviously, if you weren't here for our multiple discussions earlier, when Michael talks about the Hegel or Hegelian bankers or the Hegelian dialectic, just substitute Hegelian for Jew, because that's what he means. And that's why he's pissed off at me, because I pointed out his stupid fucking anti-Semitic dog whistle, and he doesn't like being called out for being a Nazi apologist, anti-Semitic piece of shit. Natch, because it exposes him for the piece of shit he is, and he doesn't particularly like that.
All right. How's everybody doing? First and foremost, I want to send a big shout out, and I want everybody to say hello. I think they're live streaming this on X Spaces, so 1, 2, 3, say hello, MMTLP. There you go. Woohoo! All right, everyone. So, yes, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. Served this country for 5 years, honorably.
Thank you.
Here I am representing over 200 military veterans, self-reported, so there might be more veterans involved in the MMTLP.
Or there might be less, because people are lying. But, you know, busy brands wouldn't want to admit something like that, right? Is that Tony D in the cowboy hat? Nah, yeah, no. Not so much.
Fiasco. Why do I say this? I serve my country honorably. Now I face a battle.
Yeah,
here
probably
fighting
15,
my own
20.
government. We have the SEC that does not want to give us the transparency that we deserve. What are they hiding?
They've given you plenty of transparency. Well, the amount of transparency they can give, given there's an active, ongoing investigation. Now, naturally, these people don't like it, especially since that investigation against the actual criminals that they worship like fucking living gods. So,
Ask yourself, we've been sitting here for 3 years, trying to just get transparency. We know that they pulled the blue sheets. Don't take it from us, the MMTLP investors. We have it via FOIA.
yeah, and they used it to file a lawsuit against John Berta and George Palacaris, the real criminals of this whole operation. But again, people like Busy Brands are probably bought and paid for by those people, so of course they're not going to out their little paymasters now, are they?
And so you have 74 signatures on a document that was signed bipartisan with congressional members. Why is Congress not requesting the blue sheets that we know exist? If we were so wrong, why hasn't the SEC?
Because they had private discussions with the SEC. Like, maybe they did pull them. You're just not entitled to see them, you fat jelly roll looking motherfucker.
Made it extremely clear to Congress, say, hey, these people are wrong. Here's the blue sheets. Let them go away. But we've been here 3 years fighting, and we're strong.
Yeah, that's not how that works. Because again, the investigation is still ongoing. There are more people, and I'll let you in on a little secret. One of them just might be Busy Brands. Who knows? So yeah, bunch of empty, hollow rhetoric again.
There's one thing people ask me, Busy, Jamie, why do you continue fighting? And I tell them, there's 2 military veterans that took their lives over this.
Citation needed. Reminder for all y'all from last week's episode. This is the fat fuck who has said that someone got swatted before this event, couldn't produce a name, and when asked for the footage of what happened, he said conveniently that the ring door footage was, inoperable at that time. He says that 2 veterans took their lives, and if that's the case, that's very sad. But something tells me that never fucking happened, because anytime Busy Brand's mouth is moving, he's fucking lying.
Think about that. 2 veterans took their lives because of this. Now,
Also, take your stupid fucking sunglasses off. You're in the shade. You're not cool. You're not special. Just fucking be an adult. Take off your stupid fucking sunglasses.
a lot of the veterans that are stuck in our situation in regards to with MMTLP, they're just getting paid via the VA. Most of them are disabled veterans. When they invested in this stock, they just wanted to make a better life for their families. For example, like myself. That's it. And so now these veterans, like myself, have to stand up for our brothers and sisters who were harmed.
Maybe, and here's a crazy one. You could have stood up for your brothers and sisters in the military, by not suggesting that they should buy into a shitty speculative oil investment, wildcat oil drilling operation that had no proven reserves and turned out to be a big fucking scam. Maybe, Busy, you should take some ownership in promoting this shitco to them. But I get it. You're a fat fucking coward, so you will never do that, and you will always push off the onus onto other people because your morals are receding like your fucking hairline.
And we'll continue to fight until we seek transparency and justice, not only for the veterans that are still alive, but the 2 veterans that took their lives. That's why I'm here. I will not give up on you, and hopefully everybody on the spaces, everybody that took their time out of their daily lives to come here and represent our community. For that, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Let's keep on fighting. Thank you.
Okay. Next up, you're going to hear from Chris G. Chris, come on up.
Oh, boy.
Well. So I'm Chris G. I'm a disabled vet. My background is basically special forces. and
Citation
administrative,
needed.
Retired at 21 plus years. Then I went into the government, of all things. So I have a knack as how this thing works. First and foremost, you know, I'm a husband to a lovely wife. I'm also a father to 2 combat veterans in Afghanistan and Iraq itself. My family is battle tested for everything, combat related. And a lot of you that knew of me, that came out of the so-called closet, right, at 1,000 days. For 1,000 days, I observed this fiasco. And everything I did was I turned to Busy and a couple other veterans. Whatever they needed from me, they got. Okay? In my eyes, there's only 2 things, right? People either fight or it's flight. Now, you look at somebody that has never ran away from a battle. Never. So after 1,000 days, me and my wife sat down and we talked about this. And my reason was this was just another stock. I've been investing for over 20 years. 50% of Americans have 401ks. That's standard. Depending on your demographics and where you are, could be higher. But we all invest into the market. Now, what I've learned since this time frame is baffling, astonishing that it's happening because it's fraud. It's just a different version of a Ponzi scheme. That's the way I look.
Yeah, I would agree. MMTLP was a Ponzi scheme, but not in the way you think it is. Also, again, with this stupid fucking 401k shit. If you just put your money in an actual real investment or just sat it in a fucking index ETF, you would have been absolutely fine. Would have been killing it.
Look at it. Okay? It doesn't matter how you cut it, the way you look at it. And my family wants this to be ended soon. So when I came out after 1,000 days, my first thing was, after analyzing for what I do, was build a database. Okay? I'm the one that constructed the MMTLP dashboards. And from there, you have a foundation of what has happened. Timeline, court cases, FOIA documents from our favorite people here. As an example, why is it that the SEC has processed over 34,000 FOIAs from December 22 to now, which is November of 2025, okay? Which they have released either in full or denied in part, 11.87% to the entire sector. But with MMTLP, why is it we only get 0.8%?
Because there's an ongoing investigation, you fucking idiot. Like, what part of this is so hard to understand? What does this whole I'm a veteran thing have to do with making a bad investment? It doesn't. It has everything to do with trying to get cheap sympathy pops. Like, people, obviously, for obvious reasons, have sympathy for veterans because they do a great service for our nation. But here, again, being a veteran is a simple prop that can be used to elicit an emotional response. And boy, do these MMTLP clowns hammer it into the ground. Like, also, if their demographics of how many of them are veterans are in this shitco, I really feel very sorry about the amount of financial education that our government is giving our veterans, that so many of them got trapped in this fucking shitco. Like, that's a whole different issue unto itself.
Almost 11% difference compared to the entire sector itself. Why is that? Do you think? And it's like some of the people that we talked to, like last guy, we see a peephole of FOIA documents, a peephole or a pinhole, sorry, a pinhole of FOIA documents. We don't see nothing. But yet the rest of the market gets 11+%. Why is that? And you have to ask a question. You just got to look at the information. This tale is so complex of what has transpired.
Not
it
really.
Would blow your minds. Most people cannot fathom how deep this rabbit hole goes. But as Ann has stated, it's just like silver. It falls hand in hand, and it falls in hand in hand.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, silver... Oh, my goodness. How to even... They, like, latch on to one instance where, what was it, Goldman Sachs or some investment bank had shorted silver or some sort of illegal trade on silver to suggest that the entire market is just fucking rigged, and it's absolutely comical and fucking hilarious. I bet what's going to follow is some of the stuff that we've already debunked on our live stream prior about some of this silver fucking nonsense. But let's ask for that. Go away. Awesome. Let's go.
GameStop, AMC, many other tickers out there. It does. Okay? My goal now is to fight this thing to the end of it. Period. I told you that on Spaces. If you don't want to fight, just get out of my way. That's it. We're going to take this to the end. We're going to finish this out where it needs to go, right? Until it's resolved in one fashion or another. Okay? That is it. So whatever I have, I provide freely to anyone that's asking for it. Period. So other than that, Busy, appreciate it. And everyone, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Chris.
So didn't
All right,
actually
next
really
up,
say much of
amazing
anything.
Jen Capella. Jen has got an amazing story.
Wow. Wow, someone who actually came with a written and prepared speech. Holy fucking shit, what a concept. Maybe she'll have a point in there somewhere. A cogent and coherent point to make. Let's find out.
Jen, good morning, everyone. My name is Jen Capella. I never imagined I would be standing here today. Like most Americans, I believed in the U.S. capital markets and that they were fair.
There we go. Get her real name there.
Regulators could be trusted.
Or tag
and that
or
when the
at
system
tag
failed,
instead of
our elected
Michaels.
representatives would step in and protect the people they served. We're all here today because those beliefs were proven false. I'm here today to advocate for the senior citizens in the MMTLP community. But first, I want to address a narrative that is constantly used to dismiss retail investors. We've been told we are irresponsible, uneducated.
You
reckless,
are.
That we are dumb money.
I mean, when you do shit like this, is it really wrong to call you that? Like, this is so incredibly dumb. It's like someone who flunks a grade school math test, and someone laughs at them for being an idiot, and they're like, "How dare you call me an idiot?" What's like, fucking, you did the thing. Maybe if you don't want to be called dumb money or an idiot or uneducated, maybe educate yourself and don't get caught in these fucking shitco traps. Who's going to advocate for the crackheads in the MMTLP community? I'm sure Jack Schmitty has got that covered for him.
That tired narrative is a form of gaslighting, a convenient way to blame retail investors instead of confronting the fraud and corruption that plagues.
And when you point one finger at someone, you got five pointing back at you. This whole movement is a convenient excuse for people who got bagged in a shitty investment to make excuses about how it's not their fucking fault that they decide to put all their money into an oil company with no fucking oil.
Our capital markets. For decades, investing in the American stock market was considered prudent. It's how families planned for the future, how parents built financial security.
Oh, shit. Now the audio's fucked.
People tried to do right by their children. I grew up the youngest of 9 children.
And it still is. You just buy VU. You make smart investment decisions, or you get a professional to handle your finances for you if you're not capable of doing it. But investing, again, in a shitty oil company that didn't actually have any oil and was completely a speculative investment and deciding to YOLO your fucking retirement into it, that's a you thing. That was you listening to fucking idiots on the internet and making stupid fucking decisions. Own that. Own it.
My parents invested in the stock market throughout my entire childhood. They made sacrifices so they could invest. They believed the system worked, not perfectly, but fairly. And like many families, we benefited from the investments my parents made. But sadly, that no longer is the case for families investing in today's capital markets. So when people say to retail investors, you shouldn't have invested more money you couldn't afford to lose, what they're really saying is that ordinary Americans should not expect fairness in their own markets.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Do you hear anyone who owns, who has VOO or NVIDIA or AMD or any blue chip company, do you hear them bitching about how the market's manipulated? Do you? Like, the people who hold QQQ, do you hear them bitching about how the market's manipulated? Like, why is it always losers like you that are the ones bitching?
That when fraud happens, it's somehow our fault. And that we should just simply...
I mean, to a certain extent it is. You decided to trust people you didn't know on the internet propping up a speculative oil drilling operation, a wildcat oil drilling operation based on their bajillion barrels of oil that clearly was fucking fictional. You weren't skeptical for even one iota of 1 fucking second. Like, it was so obvious this was a fraud. Now, does that absolve George Palacaris? Does that absorb Greg McCabe? Does that absolve, John Berta? No. But, like, use your fucking brain. Like, this whole thing could have been solved by being just a tad bit skeptical, to maybe seek out some opinions outside your little puff pass copium box. Maybe look at the financials and the disclosures, because it's illegal to lie on those. Maybe trust a company when it tells you things in those statements that should be cautionary warnings. They're not boilerplate. They're not in there just, to check boxes on an accountant's to-do list. Like, yes, you got caught in a scam. Not the scam you think it is, but a scam. But at some point, you need to be responsible for your fucking actions.
Simply accept it. In reality, we are fighting on behalf of shareholders whose only mistake was believing in the American financial system.
Nope. Your mistake was believing in a bunch of fucking cult leaders like Donut Rolls Busy Brands, wherever he bounced off to back there, and a bunch of other liars, fraudsters, and scammers, who all admit, by the way, that they had insider connections with Berta and the rest of them, while they were all lying to you. Maybe that's why the SEC is taking so long with this investigation, because they have a whole bunch of social media personalities that they're about ready to send to pound you in the ass federal prison.
And the people entrusted to run it. What happened to MMTLP was not reckless. It was not a bad bet. And it most certainly was...
It wasn't a bad bet. Come the fuck on. Please. The Texas, the university lands canceled their lease because they failed to keep up with the terms of the lease. Every single test drill that they drilled brought up fucking nothing. Like, they brought up more water than they did oil or gas. These were glorified aquifer wells pumping water not oil. It was highly speculative, a wildcat operation out in the middle of bumfucking Egypt in Texas, the Oro Grande, so far away from the Permian Basin that you actually have to open up the map further to find it. That statement right there is exactly the kind of shit I'm sick of. Adults unwilling to take responsibility for their stupid fucking decisions. Acting like goddamn children.
It's not our fault. This was a corrupt market that allowed overselling and naked shorting and then froze investors in place
I'm just gonna get a drink.
when the severity of this situation became known. And when a highly informed, determined, grassroots group of investors from across the country and around the world came together to ask questions, to do research and apply pressure, the system shut down questions instead of providing answers. They circled the wagons to hide the truth. Regulators shut their doors. Our elected...
You got plenty of answers. You got an entire lawsuit, which you can find on Court Listener against John Berta and George Palikaris, which explains their scheme. You got 2 FAQs from FINRA. You had Congress look into this and ask questions of the SEC. You had plenty of lawsuits that you yourself, your crew, tried to file, where you got plenty of answers from those institutions, legal professionals, and the fucking judges who ruled on all those cases. But since they're the answers that you didn't want to fucking hear, you just keep ignoring them.
Representatives turned their backs, and that is the backdrop of the MMTLP situation and the effort to discredit and silence retail investors. Now let me share with you
They don't need to discredit you. You do a pretty good job of that on your own.
what it looks like in real life for senior citizens in our community, and I'll start with my mother.
Oh,
My mom
Jesus.
is 89 years old and known in the MMTLP community as Grandma Lila. She was born on the 4th of July. She has loved this country her entire life. Patriotism.
For this group, the only thing that they care about is MMTLP. Like, there's probably other investigations that maybe could go on. Maybe. I'd sure like to hear the evidence for them. I've followed some of these other lawsuits, and they've been about as half-baked as these MMTLP ones, but the only ones they're talking about is the MMTLP lawsuits. So, like, I take each one as they come. Like, I followed Al from Boston's silly lawsuit that was like the War and Peace of conspiracy theories and was 2,000 pages long. Ain't nobody got no time for that shit, and it got dismissed. Let's see here. We followed almost all the MMTLP ones. Those have gotten dismissed. There was one shareholder lawsuit that was trying to sue the actual management, the actual people who perpetrated the fraud. That one got dismissed because, see, this is the part of the MMTLP scheme that I think was kind of by design. Like, in securities law, in order to have a right to action, you had to have either bought into a manipulated a price that was manipulated, or sold at a price that was manipulated. So holding the stock does not give you a right of action. It's actually having a realized loss because you bought at a price that was inflated or depressed, or you sold at a price that was suppressed. So with the MMTLP preferred share, it was given as a dividend to people after the reverse merger, for legacy torchlight holders to have the benefits of either the spin out or distribution based on the legacy oil assets. So since it was given to them and they didn't sell, they have no cause of action. They have no right of action, because there was no injury. Now, some of you might rightfully think that, well, the injury is the price movement, but legally speaking, there is no actionable claim because there was no actual injury. because since you're still holding, the price could go up, you know, it could come down, it could go up, it could do all sorts of things that would right the injury. So until you either buy or sell or cause something that gives a cause of action, a court is going to dismiss it, and that's what happened to their claims, which, you know, I can't help but feel that that was a little bit by design to make sure that shareholders wouldn't have a claim against these fraudsters. So, you know, if someone has a case that they actually bring, not just their conspiracy theories out there in a bubble, I'll be fine to listen to it and read to it. Recent memory against pumpers, Atlas Trading, they're currently dealing with federal charges. Like, that just came back down from the Fifth Circuit, where the dismissal was overturned. So, and then of course you have Andrew Left, who was sued because he had these shorts that he was doing, that he told people what he thought his position was, and as soon as the market moved, he sold out from under it, opposite of his trade. And so the SEC is very slow about moving, but you're starting to see that they're starting to pursue these claims of social media operators who say one thing and then do another thing. So they tell their audience, I'm long this company, and then they, you know, sell when they're, you know, they basically run a pump and dump on their followers, and that's what's being accused in Atlas. So it's slow. There's not a whole lot of them, but I get the feeling as the SEC figures out where the case law sort of pans out, I think you're going to see a lot more of these cases where if they can prove that that a social media personality or, you know, one of these pumpers is manipulating the market for their own personal benefit, the SEC is pretty, like, see, that's the part that I don't get about this whole press conference. Is like, is the SEC slow? Could it use more funding? Could it use more regulators or people on the ground watching? Yeah, sure. But to say that they aren't watching is idiotic. Like, that's been pretty consistent. Is it hard to find where the line is in this digital age? I would agree. But I can't buy this idea that the SEC is just, you know, not doing anything. I think that they could and should do more. But the fact that the idea that they're just rolling over and playing dead for Wall Street is kind of hilarious.
Autism isn't something she talks about, it is how she has always lived. She believed deeply in the rule of law and in the idea that elected officials exist to serve and protect the people they represent. When her investment was frozen, she did exactly what seniors are to do. She asked for...
It wasn't frozen. NextBridge refuses to make their stock tradable by refusing to get a QSEP. There's a big difference there. So your grandparents' assets aren't frozen. Management is just incompetent.
For help, she called the FINRA senior helpline twice. And when she mentioned that she was calling about MMTLP, they hung up on her. She went to the Idaho Department of Finance looking for guidance. She was handed an SEC brochure titled,
Yeah, because, like, what is a state regulator supposed to do in this situation, especially when with this kind of security? Like, state regulators are for, like, if you go to your financial professional and they, you know, screw you over, that's what state regulators are for. But for, like, these traded securities, especially with MMTLP, which is based or not MMTLP, NextBridge hydrocarbons, based out of Texas, incorporated in Nevada. What is an Idaho regulator supposed to fucking do exactly? They don't have any jurisdiction. Of course, they're going to hand you a pamphlet for the SEC and tell you go talk to the feds. They're the ones that handle that.
a guide for seniors, how to protect yourself against investment fraud. Think about that. She wrote simple handwritten letters to her representatives and to members of Congress, and she never received a single response back. And that is how the American senior is treated when she asked her government for help. Across the entire retail investor community, seniors have story after story just like hers. 3 years ago, when my mom made her investment in MMTLP at 86 years old, she still had the physical ability and energy to travel. But today, at 89, she no longer does. At that stage of life, the difference between 86 and 89 is enormous. It's a lifetime.
Notice how she's taking no responsibility for likely getting her grandparents to buy into MMTLP. It's all someone else's fault, not hers in the slightest.
When regulators stall, delay, and hide behind phrases like ongoing investigations, it's simply a delay tactic. And time is something that seniors simply do not have.
Which is why seniors shouldn't be investing in speculative investments. It's why in later life you take safer investments like government bonds, local municipal bonds, state bonds, and index funds. Like, this is a prime example why senior citizens should not be investing in shitcos. Like, and again, 3 years is a lifetime. I mean, when you're at the end of your life, but like, again, Jen refusing to take responsibility at any stage of this for getting her grandparents into this mess. You know, that's partly on her. Like, that was not a good investment. And any financial professional would have told them that, like, your grandparents should not be investing in this. It's too speculative. It's risky. It risks damaging their retirement. It risks their financial safety and security. They should not invest in this. The risk tolerance that they have is just not, you can't be doing this. I'd love to see how many people are watching these folks for shouting into the void. Yeah. I mean, how many views did it get on YouTube? So it got 1,000, which for Ann having almost 4K subscribers, that's not too bad. How much did she get on? She got 22. She got 2.2 on Rumble while having 20K followers. That's kind of a shit metric. What were the X numbers? Oh, hey, look, nothing like using kids as props. Sorry. That's going in the archive. Yeah, Jay, shittiest Father of the Year award. He's going to win it again this year, too. Watch. 55,000 views on X. Oh, yeah, because Michael retweeted it. I might explain a little bit. Oh, so, yeah, I did pretty well on X. Everywhere else, it just tanked. But I would say also that a lot of that 55,000 is probably just the cult circle jerking to itself. So, yeah. Yeah, the math doesn't math. Like, that's why it had 55,000 on X. Like, they circle jerked it between all of the Memestock bros, because Michael retweeted, a bunch of the AMC people retweeted that. So yeah, like it was a big Memestock circle jerk. But I'd say the Rumble and YouTube numbers are a better representation about how the general populace, how much of the general populace gives a shit about this. Like, you look at the difference here between 55,000 and then you go to X, and that's 2K, and then another 1K, and then, oops, they accidentally split the stream. So, you know, like 4K, so call it 4, 6, 7K on other platforms. I'm sure Facebook and LinkedIn had even worse numbers. So, like, yeah, sure, all the people who were already receptive to that message bought in. Everyone else just doesn't give a shit. Does not give a shit.
There are seniors in this community facing serious health challenges, real financial hardships, real fear.
Because idiots like you got their parents and grandparents people who were in retirement to buy into a highly risky asset and now don't want to take responsibility for that.
People who invested carefully late in life and now live under constant
And then you fucked it for them.
uncertainty and stress. This should never have happened to them. This is not about money. It is about what happens when regulators and elected
It is
leaders
about pity.
protect powerful players.
It's about pity and Jen
hedge
not
funds,
taking responsibility for her
market
shitty fucking decisions.
insiders, and Wall Street billionaires.
I don't know why anyone gives a shit after all this time. They lost, it's over, move on. Because they're in a cult. They're in a cult and they don't want to take responsibility for their stupid fucking decisions. So they got to keep moving, keep blaming other people, especially when their family starts asking really uncomfortable questions about why their finances are fucked after they suggested that they buy into this shitco.
Billionaires.
Long and short, this is all performative so they don't have to take responsibility for their life decisions. Again, children trapped in adult bodies.
While everyday Americans are told to wait, accept your losses, or just simply go away. It is about a system where regulators seem more concerned with protecting each other and their future employment.
I will say one thing, because she has prepared statements, her speech actually sounds decent compared to these other buffoons.
Prospects on Wall Street than protecting the public they are supposed to serve. If those decisions were truly justified, they would not fear transparency. If those actions were something to be proud of, a false share count would not be refused. And if elected officials truly
God, stop it. What is with YouTube, and if you hit it the wrong spot, it suddenly decides that you want full screen mode, and I really don't. Okay, first of all, you've been given a share count by the company multiple times. Every time that they filed financial statements, you've gotten a share count. This whole stupid, we haven't gotten a share count, and then they realized that they get a share count every time financials are produced, so they had to make up this fake nonsense of we want an audited and aggregated share count, something that doesn't fucking exist. It's a cult.
worked for the people, they would not ignore seniors who have been asking for help for more than 3 years. We're not asking for special treatment.
Help is coming, somewhat. I mean, you're not going to get all your money back, but John Berta, Greg McCabe, hopefully, and George Palikaris, that SEC lawsuit, they'll have to pay back money that would be distributed to victims. Just yet more proof that you're cheering for the wrong people.
We're asking for the truth. We're asking for accountability.
They're not asking for either of those
markets
things.
where hardworking Americans are not blamed for simply investing. We're not reckless. We were betrayed.
Yes, you are.
And we are not going away. Thank you.
Oh, I believe you're not going away, and that's kind of the saddest part of this.
Okay, folks, coming up next is Juan 93212.
Who?
Good morning. My name is Juan. 3 years ago, December 8th, I experienced something that was very difficult, not only for me, but for many people. My circumstance was completely different. At that moment that I thought of, my child was on the verge of, I was very close to losing my child with a health issue, a very severe health issue. I was going through a divorce. I nearly lost my finances, and I was alone. I felt so abandoned and confused. My money being frozen, the hardships that I could see in the future happening with my child's health. Space has provided me a space to communicate, to associate, to belong. One night, as my child was recovering from a surgery that I didn't know she was gonna make it through, she survived, but I had so many emotions that I could not speak to anybody because I had nobody that understood my situation. I let my story be known that night, and I received so much support from random strangers all over the world. That support comforted me and allowed me to get through that moment. Along that path, I started receiving many messages from other investors throughout the world and their circumstances of why they invested in MMTLP, NextBridge, Torchlight, from the beginning, for their children, for their spouses, for the future, the dreams that they had to expand their businesses, our veterans. Everything was halted. 3 years have passed by, and yet we're still stuck. There are so many
You're not still stuck. The halt ended when MMTLP shares were canceled by Metamaterials on the distribution date. Like, you're not stuck. The only reason that, like, the halt has nothing to do with anything. And the fact that, these people continue to parrot that line. Again, the only reason it's not trading is because Next Bridge Hydrocarbons Management is fucking incompetent. They could get a QSIP tomorrow and it would be trading. A sense of belonging to something. I guess they're not getting their money back. That's for sure. Yeah, no.
So many stories here that have bonded us together with so much trauma, so much abuse, so much neglect. Our health has deteriorated. The amount of stress is unbearable. The circumstances, the suicidal ideations, the fear, the families that have been broken, the arguments, people that are homeless, people that are living in their cars. Why? Because they believed in something to provide a better life for their family members. We're here.
Well, I mean, if they were actually about providing a better life for their family members, they'd stop living in a car, get a job, and stabilize their life as opposed to being attached to parasocial internet relationships with fucking internet grifters that don't give a shit about them. Of course, why would anyone get money for nothing? They have shares, like Corex keeps saying. Until it trades, it's all held by the company. Yep.
Here, we don't want to be here. This should have never happened to us. Our time has been taken away. We will never regain that. We will never regain our health as we had it planned. We've lost.
If like, I get the whole like, SEC is more like a beat cop. They can't investigate a crime until a crime actually occurs, which means you need victims. If the SEC was more proactive and didn't allow this dividend bullshit to happen in the first place and force them to do an actual legitimate spin out or something, or cut down on these predatory reverse merger, shitco companies getting a shell to get listed so they can exploit people in equity markets, then, a lot of this shit wouldn't happen and we wouldn't be having stuff like this.
Members that are no longer here with us. We're just speaking the facts of what happened to every single individual that is a shareholder.
Oh boy, is that PP down there? Juan, we will fight for you. None of the MMTLP investors will be forgotten. Justice is coming. Yeah, as if PP Seeds gives a flying fuck. Oh, the PP grift is strong. It's even in our chat.
My brothers and my sisters, this is a family. Whether we like it or not, we have stuck together side by side, encouraging one another, being there for one another to edify and to encourage each other to not lose hope. We are here because we have a belief that we will not fail, that we will prevail. For every shareholder of MMTLP that continues to struggle and may have doubt, we're here united with so much conviction, with so much hope and inspiration that we will not leave. We will get louder.
At this point, this just feels like yet another space
that
call.
Has not allowed us to voice, to help us. We pleaded with you. There are many people that are suffering so bad. They need this resolved. They cannot afford to find other ways to make it another day. There are many people that are dying right now with cancer, that have been hospitalized, that have gone through so much trauma to the point that they've been have to go through hospitalization just to restable them. Alcoholism, substance abuse. They made no choice to be in that position, but because of life struggles and the lack of coping skills.
Yeah, they did. Like, yeah, people do substance abuse when they're in tough times. But that is still a choice. A bad choice to handle a bad situation. It's like doubling down on being an idiot. Like, again, just proves how little responsibility these people want to take for their lives. Oh, I'm an alcoholic because, FINRA screwed me. Oh, I'm doing drugs because FINRA screwed me. No, you're doing drugs because you chose to do drugs to cope with this situation. A very unhealthy way to handle it. But again, these people cannot take responsibility for a single thing they do. Well, I'm a shareholder, so if they want to keep fighting for me, that's cool.
we have to find a way to manage to be able to make it one more day. But I think the members of X, the people that have been our champions to align themselves with us, to amplify our voices, I thank you for being so brave and bold and allowing our voices to be
Really
heard.
takes
Because it's
no
not my
bravery
story.
to do
It's
this.
all of the people that are here that believe in their families, that believe in themselves. You did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong.
Did
and we will not
nothing
leave until we
wrong. Fuck. I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. An inability to take responsibility for personal actions.
get fair justice for all of us. We need a resolution for every single shareholder immediately. I urge you, please, whoever can do anything for us.
Platinum scrolling by with the
Hear our story.
share count.
Thank you, Juan. Congress, we need a referral, criminal referral to the DOJ. That's the message.
Already probably have. Just not the people you want.
DOJ, we have all the evidence. We've done the legwork. This group
They've
here
got
has it all.
the
It's
actual
an easy
evidence,
slam
though.
dunk indictment. Next up, Rowena Mashma, please. There you are.
Good morning. I'm Rowena Mochman, and my family is a victim of MMTLP. Here's my story. While I was attending to my mom, who suffered from brain aneurysm, and while she was fighting for her
She has
precious
a literal
life,
bag, yeah.
FINRA did the unthinkable.
There are people on X who have literal MMTLP merch shops. The grift is strong. I think it's, what is his name? Rare Glass or something like that. Sells like MMTLP shot glasses and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's disgusting.
FINRA issued the U3 halt, preventing trading and immediately freezing our assets. So this unthinkable, nefarious U3 halt, think about it, you know, we're in despair. I'm so emotional right now because I could still remember the time. I didn't know what to see, whether to look at this or, you know, really attend to my mom. Obviously, you have to attend to my mom. But while these things are going on, we needed funds. So I came and called my broker about my funds, and I was told it's zero. From a lot of this much to, they told me is, sorry, we can't help you. Called everyone, Merrill, all the brokers, because I have them, Schwab, TD Ameritrade. And it was very shocking because at the time we needed most our hard-earned funds. We could not access our accounts. So today, I stand in front of the...
Man, imagine if you actually read that S1 and knew what was going to happen. Because a lot of people knew what was coming because they actually read the disclosures that the company had to provide legally.
Securities Exchange Commission
To the
advocating
moon, white
for
changing
market fairness, regulatory accountability, and transparency. I strongly urge FINRA, the SEC, DTCC, OTC, FIF, the Department of Justice, the U.S. Congress, our President Donald Trump.
Yeah, none of those, like Donald Trump and the DOJ, they're too busy going after Jerome Powell to give a shit about you. In case you hadn't noticed, the only thing the DOJ does is respond to Donald Trump's wishes for punishing his political enemies. So you're probably way down the Christmas list of getting any justice from them.
Our Vice President J.D. Vance and the Department of Government and Efficiency to take heed. Hear our plea for justice and resolution to MMTLP fiasco. We, the MMTLP family, MMTLP army, and MMTLP warriors will never give up until we are made whole. Thank you. Thank you.
I can believe that. I mean, the Bed Bath & Beyond baggies don't have any shares. Technically, MMTLP still has stock and shares in an active company, even if it's winding its way to bankruptcy. So, yeah, I believe that, they'll keep going, even if it's pointless. Oh, damn, she's begging Elon for help. Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme sometimes with these baggy groups, is thinking that Elon even has a moment where he thinks about them.
All right, Leo, known as Zing on X. By the way, who's responsible for the beautiful presentation here? Thank you so much, Leo.
No wonder it's so fucking half-assed. I would have thought Ann would have gotten some professional people to, like, put up a good set and stage and everything, but nope. She let the community handle that one, and it fucking shows.
Leo.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you. I want to say last night I came in late, but I'm now able to tell who's who. I'm not going to remember everybody's name, but I really appreciate. There's a lot of people came here from afar, and myself, I drove here 8-9 hours, and to do that, I think shows the stand that this community wants to make. We know that we were wronged, and I'm a Canadian investor, and when I have to read my notes. Sorry, guys. But I'm also representing the international shareholders from around the world who invested in these U.S. markets, believing in fairness, rule of the law, and regulatory oversight. I invested in Torchlight because I felt the assets were there. Like many others, I believed it was a solid investment. My hope was simple and honest, to build something for the future, including education funds for my grandchildren. That future was taken away when MMTLP was halted, my investment was frozen, like many others here. I was left with no answers, no resolution, no timeline. The days and weeks after the halt were extremely difficult financially, emotionally, and mentally. But one thing became very clear very quickly: I wasn't alone. There were tens of thousands of shareholders, families, seniors, veterans, parents, grandparents, all asking the same basic question: what happened and why? For the past 3 years, this community has done everything the regulators have asked us to do. We filed the complaints, we submitted the evidence, we followed the process. We sought help through the SEC and through Congress, and yet every time we turned for transparency, we were turned away. Instead of answers, we were met with silence. Instead of accountability, deflection. Instead of resolution, delay. Over these 3 years, shareholders uncovered the truth ourselves, evidence of regulatory failure, market misconduct, and collusion.
Wow, whoopsies. Like, let me go back there. Thanks for the catch there. That side shows T. Yeah, I had the same sort of interference that Michael had in the middle of this, but like, at least with the Pulte events, like, even though the subject matter was kind of the same, they had different angles at it. They had different people that talked about it in different ways. Is it working now? Is the audio good? I see the green bar moving, so I think it's good again. Okay, good. So, like, but the whole thing is like, half of these speakers we don't fucking need. Like, cool, we're hearing their stories, but like they're like so fucking long, and like just keep it short. Like, it's like when you have those like testimonial videos, it's like you give them maybe a minute at most to talk about their particular pain. And so it just feels so repetitive and mind-numbing. Like, at least with Michael, even though he didn't know anything about anything, at least his speech was at least like different from the rest. And so it just didn't feel like the same thing over and over again.
That should never have been allowed in a fair and transparent market. This is why I'm still here today. This is why we're still here. This is no longer just an American issue. When international investors can have their money frozen indefinitely in U.S. markets without explanation or resolution,
Like
becomes a
there
global
has
trust
been an
issue.
explanation.
The U.S.
You just
markets
don't
depend
like
on
it.
international confidence. That confidence has been damaged.
It
Not
really
by
hasn't,
shareholders,
though.
but by the regulators in action. This community has never asked for special treatment. We've asked
Yes,
for
it has.
one thing only, and that's transparency. It's time to make this right. Not next year, not someday, now. So the families can move forward, so the trust can be restored, and so this never happens again. To anyone, anywhere. Thank you all for coming.
At least he had prepared remarks.
Okay, next we're going to hear from Rick, one of the members of the community known as Number 2 Pencil.
Oh boy.
Got that. Hey guys. Hey everybody. Appreciate you being here. It's a big deal for everybody to show up here. So.
Pick of him in a graveyard
I
is
know,
oddly
almost everybody knew me. I
apropos.
lost my wife 2 years ago to this. It's really because of this. You know, talk about the theft, and it is theft. Your money just evaporates in an instant. And without the insurance, without the money to pay for specialized cancer treatment, my wife is dead. And she's dead because of this. And I blame them for that.
Oh my god. You already said that she needed specialized treatment. So, like, trying to say, my wife is dead because FINRA took my money is, like, fucking retarded. Nothing says serious intellect like introducing each other with their screen names. Yeah. At a press conference. But yeah, like trying to attach my wife's dead because of you. No, like you made it pretty clear. You kind of gave up the ghost there. She needed specialized treatment that she was more than likely going to die anyway. You're just using her dead body as a prop, which I'm not sure which is more gross. The jackass who is using his 2 children as a prop, or you using your dead wife as a prop. We'll just do a poll in the chat. A show of hands, who's more gross, Number 2 Pencil or the other guy that uses his kids as fucking sympathy props? We'll let the people decide on that one.
You know, we came into this just like a lot of you. I came in Torchlight in 21. We both made this decision together, 100%. It was on both of us. Thank you. And you know, we talked, we dreamed. You know, we knew what we had invested in. We did everything right, just like all of you. Everybody here invested in it. If you invested, you know, in the beginnings, and we knew what we were getting into.
Yeah, dead
Also,
wife
we
is
added
pretty gross.
A preferred A share that was illegally put into the OTC markets and traded. And those that bought after the fact, you know, you knew what you were buying. And as Jen said, nobody here, and as everybody's reiterated, we've done nothing wrong. This is all on the SEC, FINRA, you know, a self-regulatory agency with immunity. And, you know,
It's not my fault, officer, that I hit the fucking light pole. It just jumped out at me. Feel like there's a lot more options to be added to that choice. So much more grossness. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of grossness in there. Like, I think we talked about it earlier, where fucking Busy Brands was talking about the 2 veterans that committed suicide that needs a big old fucking Wikipedia citation needed next to it, especially considering that he lied about the whole, like, an MMTLP investor was swatted right before this event. It's just, there's so much, like, despicableness by these people that it's just crazy. Investing all your money into a get-rich-quick scheme while your wife is sick feels pretty wrong to me. Yeah, I mean, fucking absolutely.
we dreamed, and then cancer came, and you know, I lost her to that, and the worst thing in the world. I don't wish it on anybody, not enemy, anybody. You take somebody who you are is your life, you're one. When you marry somebody, you become one, and when that person's gone, it's 1 + 1 - 1 = 1/2, and it takes a ripped a hole in you. And these people ripped a hole in me, and it took away that joy. But
these people, oh my goodness, like, I'll be quite honest, had 3 grandparents die from cancer. I get that visceral feeling, especially with cancer when it's like this slow thing where you can like literally watch someone, the life being sucked out of them, everything that made them who they were just being drained physically from them. It's horrible. But like, it's just so much more horrible to use that like visceral experience and trying to use that to further some like inability to take responsibility for your poor actions. Like I just can't even. I hear from Kai Smollett about stellar opportunity to buy crinkle fries.
Broken piece. And, I'm not a speaker. I'm just here to tell what happened. And Carrie was a part of the community as well. She was active in support. Such a kind, nicest person. Loved to death. Everybody loved her everywhere she went. She was a leader, a servant leader. And, beautiful soul. Yeah. And miss her. I'll never stop missing her. I love her to death. New things happened in my life, but, I'm here to honor her and to tell a story. And these people here, in these organizations, they lack humanity. There's no humanity. There's just numbers on paper. They can't have enough. And all we want is just to live our lives normally. We follow the rules. They don't.
If you want to just live your lives normally, just buy VOO. VOO and chill. Especially if you're in the years where you're in retirement. Just it's so easy.
Their sins. And I thank everybody, this community, I can't thank everybody enough. I kind of had to disappear a bit because it's just too hard on me emotionally. And so I'm back, and I just encourage everybody to stick with it. We're going to get resolution here. And I thank everybody for reaching out to me and understanding. And I can tell you, it's all good people. We're just people. We're just good. We're Americans, and patriotic. We want to do the right things, and we want those who regulate to do the right things as well. And I guess thank Ann. Thank you for picking up. Maureen, thank you so much. Jen Capella.
Yeah, thank the Pizzagate lady for sponsoring this event for you guys. I'm sure it'll do real great booming numbers for your credibility.
In 2021, we're talking about for me, it's over 4.5 years, and this is all consuming. All of you know this consumes us every day. It's stressful. It affects your health. So
they literally have to reset the
thank you for the support that you've given to me.
Faces of MMTLP thing.
This people, like I said, suicide, illness. Juan's daughter, they've stolen from us, and
these are all the people
we need
that
resolution
died.
here,
Got it.
and they need to get their humanity back. Thank you so much.
This is just
okay,
so
we'd like to have the folks from MMTLP please come around. We're going to just gather for a moment.
Yeah, and it didn't even last that long. Like, it was just like a couple seconds, a few photos, and then it was done. It's just like how half-assed this is just so embarrassing. Like, it makes the Pulte events seem like they're a fucking Broadway production. It's just that bad. For the dead Memestock homies.
For a moment of silence and reflect.
Oh my God!
Please come on up here. We wanted to take a moment to reflect on those that have been harmed by this, but especially those that lost their lives due to this. And just take a minute up here, and we'll take a moment of silence, and then we're going to hear some closing remarks from my co-founder at American Made Action, Maureen Steele. Everybody come on up.
So this is the entire crowd.
Thank
now.
you.
Come on, guys. Make your way over here, everyone.
Get it in.
I've got a moment I'm
ready?
waiting for.
All right, let's show our respect for those who have
Some
been
of you
harmed
might know
and for
what's
those
coming.
who are no longer here with us because of this MMTLP fiasco.
I want to know when you guys see it. Just give me a sec. First person. Oh my goodness. This is exactly the kind of thing that I expected. Why? Like, we're getting ready to have a moment of silence. Here we are. We get the bunny ears going on.
We love you, Richie.
Susan. Okay, thank you, everybody. And now I'd like to introduce Maureen Steele.
Because one time was not enough.
Who is my co-founder from American Made. Where are you, Maureen?
And then fucking Busy Branch just slowly turns. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? These people wonder why no one takes them seriously. I will never not laugh at that. But we're not even to the best moment yet.
Joe? Once you realize the rules can be rewritten without explanation, without remedy, without consequence, you are no longer participating in a market. You are participating in an ambush. These victims did not live recklessly. They trusted the system. The SEC...
Oh my goodness, the signs are straining to not fall over. Oh my god.
Texture meant to protect ordinary Americans. It shows silence instead of accountability. These folks are not asking for special treatment, but fairness, for the rules to mean something, for their investments back, and for someone, anyone, to admit what happened was wrong.
Yeah, so they had to get
So
people
far,
back there to
everything
keep the
is
signs from falling
But
over.
these stories now exist outside their silence.
Load-bearing
And I ask them
background
today
extras.
for all
Oh my goodness.
that would like their story recorded and compiled in a book on this unprecedented act of agency criminality. Please email me at msteelpa@gmail.com.
The only thing that was missing was a speaker explaining the difference between driving and traveling. You know what? You probably could have asked Michael for that one. He pulls over like Lincoln Logs. I have an interest to want to read Marantz's AI slop book, but I have no interest in paying for it nor making anyone else pay for it to get it. If it lands in my lap, I'll be appreciative. This book I may have to go out of my way to get just to read it live and just read how atrocious it is. I mean, assuming she's actually going to put effort into it and not ask Gemini to write it for her like Marantz did.
Let's grow the record of people who did everything right and were still sacrificed to institutional convenience. These people are not invisible. These people are the evidence. And the longer this goes unanswered, the more obvious it becomes. The harm wasn't accidental. It was absorbed deliberately by people least able to carry it. This is not market failure. This is a moral one.
Make sure to get your stories into that email address.
And refer to the DOJ. Like Ann said earlier, we have all the evidence and the receipts.
Her book should be read in Jeremy Irons' voice.
God bless you all, MMTLP family, and a great country.
Maybe I'll find some AI that can do that for us.
We're going to now take questions. If anybody has questions, I see some folks in the press here, but we're open for anything, and I may not be the person responding, but we certainly have people who can. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I think that was a lie that there was anyone in the press here. Just gonna go out on a limb there.
Anybody? Brave souls in the press? Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody coming today. Thank you so much for your time. This is such an important story. This story, the MMTLP story, isn't just a one-off, as you've heard. It has impacted companies.
For the record, y'all, she reserved 30 minutes to take questions from the press and got not a single one question. Now, I was in a space on this after one, and there was a good point brought up. You didn't even think to have like fake press plant people to ask questions, so you didn't look like some goof troop moron when you got up to the podium and said, "Does the press have any questions?" And then you get silence. It's just taxis beeping. Dollar General Ann Coulter is asking for questions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In this country over and over, including True Social's TMTG. They have withstood and have fought back on the naked short selling. This is out in the open. You guys are the tip of the spear right now, and this fight is only getting more and more loud, and we are going to be more and more vocal, and we're going to be more direct with our members of Congress. We've already had some words this morning with various members of Congress that they're very interested in this story, and they want to dive into it. And
they're interested in you going
away.
away.
Of Justice after this press conference with details, and there's much more to come. This is not a one-off. I don't walk away and abandon. For those that know me in this for the last 10 years, no, that's not my style. And with Maureen Steele at my side, we are going to make sure this story is bigger and bigger and bigger, and it will help every company and every investor around the world that has been impacted horribly by the.
I think most people will not know nor give a singular fuck. They're the tip of something. I'm not sure it's a spear. Yeah, and that tip is about as blunt as is about as sharp as a butter knife.
Practice of naked short selling. And I will say this, their practices are coming home to roost. For those banks that sold silver short, they're in trouble. You're going to see some things shake up.
Oh yeah, the silver short stuff. They're so shaking in their boots so hard that people were literally making up bullshit things like banks that had mysterious silver short positions and 8Ks that had nothing to do with silver and things like that. Like, this is just so desperately, just reeks of desperation. Like, I get it. Silver is a unique situation right now because there's a lot of flight to safety, because, you know, currently the government is screwing the pooch, and also there is a legitimate shortage of silver, and not a lot of mines coming online to fix that problem. So I get it. There's an actual legit concern that silver prices will go up significantly, but it isn't because of naked shorts. I'm in shambles right now. Shambles. Oh yeah, I'm shambling.
So this story's timing is very, very important. And I just want to thank the MMTLP community for their incredible adoption of me and Maureen into the family, and being so organized and so cohesive, and showing the country and the world, frankly, what America's about, our resolve, and how we are coming together to govern. Because we're going to tell these corrupt agencies who's boss. Who's boss, everybody? We are. They answer to us. And this agency is, you know, is basically just stuff made up. It's a for-profit corporation, and they're working with a regulatory, you know, independent body, FINRA, that is not a government agency, to use them as arm's length buffer to protect themselves here at the SEC from the crimes of what they did to MMTLP and other companies in this country. Thank you all for coming today. God bless you all. I appreciate you, and have a great morning.
Hold on.
Wait, what? Oh. Yeah, so that's the end of that. That was funny. So let's see what we got from Meltdown as far as silliness. Let's see here. Yeah. Haven't followed the news, but knowing Michael is giving speeches. Guys, your money's gone. Yeah. Yeah, get a bigger suit. The background construction noises. Yep. Alright. So yeah, I already did the Michael meme, but what we hadn't gotten to yet was some of the baggy reactions. So a bunch of them were like, "Oh my goodness, an article came out from Gateway Pundit. They, you know, they're following us," and like, I kind of gave away the punchline on the joke there. It was just Ann basically writing letters to the editor note. Not because it's always right. It's protected from consequences. Wall Street prejudices. When financial schemes collapse, the public never confront banks or hedge funds directly. Instead, everything is routed through a maze of financial agencies. The institutions claim independence, invoke complexity, and operate behind closed doors. That curtain matters, because when regulators control the process, they also control the outcome. Investigations disappear, enforcement stall, documents stay sealed, accountability buried under procedure, citation needed. This is how Wall Street wins, not in the market, but through the agencies tasked with regulating it. Only occasionally does something slip through, not an explosion, a warning. Canaries do not cause explosions. They warn the air is toxic. MMTLP was that one. Oh my goodness. And the same fucking FOIAs that we've known about forever. Awesome. Yeah, I bet they completely misunderstand the U3 halt. Okay, so completely speculative. Doesn't even really mention anything about silver. Okay. This is 35D chest, and apes will prevail. How do the Knights move again? Houston Wade is dropping the soap as we speak. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't see Houston Wade getting out of this one. Although I do need to remember to take some vacation time for that trial, because I guarantee you Houston Wade's ego will not let him not go to trial. Of course, we got our good friend Ethan running a poll about what do you think of the press conference, and justice will prevail. Yeah, of course, the people who don't understand that their claims for their mythical AMC lawsuit have expired and have passed the statute of limitations, of course, think that MMTLP people are going to get some sort of justice. Houston about to get sold for 3 honey buns. You need to be careful there. Is his buns the honey buns? Hopefully some got to see what's happening again at the SEC today. MMTLP community have done an answer job. well done, John. Well done. Please send John Archernet back to remedial English, please. It's not over yet, unfortunately. Still, there are people who don't know or don't believe that Adam Aaron took part in the destruction of AMC, viewing it as a separate issue or denying anything. Yeah, of course, he's going to try and make it about him. Awesome. Fantastic. I can't believe people gave Michael hundreds of dollars just for that. Yeah, they gave him $1,100 just so he could go there to that event. Michael is he is the master of getting people to part with their money for reasons I don't at all understand. I've still got a little bit of time that I can be having some fun, and apparently Josh did a response to our Saturday live stream. I doubt I'm going to get to all of this before I need to call it a night, but we're going to try. We're going to try our best. That works. I can actually full screen this. I like that. We're going to bump up the playback speed, see how well we do here. So, yeah. Josh not only said that he was wanted to be on the Saturday show with Oil Mutt and who was the other one again? Nick, wasn't it? Yeah, Nick Nemeth. Gold fringe on the flag. Nobody tell Michael. So yeah, I haven't heard back from him as to the Saturday date. Hopefully he'll show up, because I have a feeling that it'd be a very interesting discussion. But if he doesn't, I'm sure we'll be able to figure out something. But yeah, this was, he did two 25-minute videos, so we're probably not going to get all of this, but I'm going to at least try and get our way through some of it.
Okay, so I got to say that was genius marketing, and I'm not going to take credit for it. And the first thing I'll say is this.
Genius marketing. Like, all I did was I put up the live stream the way I was going to do it, and you spurred out like some fucking meth head that I decided to have someone on who was saying bad stuff about your company. That wasn't genius marketing. That was just, I did what I always do. There's nothing particularly clever about it.
The Coyote, the Trader Girl, and Platinum. Let's always stream at each other online, because that's how you guys want to live, right? I'm like a pretty friendly guy, so all my friends, I don't know, they talk to me nice because I talk to them nice. So, but that said, we're not friends yet. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to retract all the bullshit back and forth between us. I do think that you guys, I like your show. I'll just say that. And at the same time, too, we can act like tough guys online. I know that, you know, in a setting.
This is word for word the same thing that happened after the first live stream, so take that for what it's worth.
On your guys' podcast, which you guys welcome me onto, and I appreciate that, I really do. In that type of setting, I think that the truth always does come out, and I like the way that you guys conduct your show. So, yeah, you know, everybody's a tough guy online. You know, guilty is charged. All right, I'm going to go through some comments real quick that I made. So, let's see here. The CPA. I thought bringing the CPA on was actually a really good thing. So, I've said to everybody, I'm not a CPA. In fact, I'm the exact opposite of CPA, which was an investment.
Yeah, that was kind of the fucking point. Michael's trying to go for the GoFundMe record. Luke 4 in like 4 the last year. Congratulations, you received 1,000 messages today on Restream. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm not gonna. I like how it still has tweet there. No one likes X.
Banker in New York. So, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But when you're an investment banker in New York, the good ones, right? I like to put myself in that category. Some might not. Some would probably put me in the bad ones, right? But the good ones got deals done ethically, with high accounting standards, bankability. So being like, you know, you could go to a bank with bank credit-worthy financial statements. And I'm going to actually touch on that topic too, as far as the ARO, ARC. And this will probably be a lengthier video than I expected, because we're already at 2 minutes, and I was thinking this whole thing would take 2 minutes. So let me just stick to the facts, right? Okay, so CPA comment, ARO, subjective management number. Okay, we took that right from the Railroad Commission website. So the Texas Railroad Commission will estimate what they believe they'll estimate what they believe the gross cost of our environmental liability would be. And that's if we don't third party, that's if we third party and everything, right? So when I tell people, hey, you know, take that number and multiply it by 33%, number one, I'm actually saying that because that's probably what it will end up costing us over the life.
The problem we had was not that you had a number, it's that you didn't break down that number so people could follow your math. Like, cool that you had the regulatory cost of these depreciating assets that are the oil wells, and the possible regulatory cost of having them. The problem wasn't the number necessarily, as Running with Bears pointed out. It's that you didn't show where your number came from.
The assets. But in addition to that too, that number is taken from the Texas Railroad Commission website. They tell us what we have to do environmentally, and then they tell us what they believe it will cost based off.
Okay, then just put that in your 10K.
Of their RFP metrics. Now, granted, right, if you're submitting an RFP or a request for proposal or request for quote, RFQ, what that means is that third parties are providing pricing estimates. And if a third party is providing a pricing estimate to the government, I'm just going to tell you guys, okay, never having done that, I don't want to ever contract with the government. I'm not anti-government. I believe in the Austrian economics theory, which is that government should play the least amount of role possible. So I'm a free market guy, right? But the government does tell us what we have to do from an environmental standpoint. That's our asset retirement obligation. Now, as I've also stated too, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? Do I want to be the CEO, controlling member, and CFO? No, I like being the CEO. I will always have a hard time giving up CFO responsibility, even though the only person that I trust with my books is Sean Rye, who, sorry, 1 second here. My company man. Hey, bro, I'm recording a podcast. What's up?
I was just calling you back.
Kenneth, I'm gonna hit you after this podcast. All right. Let's get after it in the field, but I'll call you back. So that's my chief operating officer, Kenneth. Okay, so Kenneth's really the mastermind. All you guys think that Marcus is the mastermind, I'm the mastermind. No. Marcus is my best friend, and I moved into his childhood's house, and then I took it over, and I told him I'm never giving it back to him. So we signed a contract, and I assumed his mortgage, property taxes, and then the improvements on the property. Everybody has a different philosophy in life, right? I will tell people, if you want to buy a house in a specific area, the best way to do it is look for distressed rentals, meaning owner absent, falling apart, and needs a little bit of TLC. When I say falling apart, there's still an existing structure there that's livable. So we'll leave it at that. And if you look at my oil and gas company, it's the exact same way. So my oil and gas company, I like value add. I like extreme value add, meaning that I've got to go in and spend a shitload of money, and I've got to spend a ton of time, and then I've got to be very field intensive.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So when you see spills around an oil well, the first thing that you can tell yourself is that it doesn't matter. That's probably going to cost you 20 to 40 grand. Every time you see a big spill or like a tar pit around an oil well, if you see like a little bit of like a leak around it, that's going to cost you 10 grand. Imagine owning 1,000 old Chevy Camaros from the 60s, 70s. Some people are Firebird guys. I love the Firebird. I like the interior better in the 70s and 80s and 90s. But I'll always be a Camaro and Chevy guy because I don't know, I'm just a Chevy guy. It's the favorite truck that I drive, even though I really love my TRX. The Dodge Rams are the best. So, and I love a Ford truck too. I've got a bunch of F-250 Super Duties. So don't get me wrong, I'm an American truck guy. And if you knew me, you know me. Now let's get back over to the facts. So,
yes, please.
All right, so the CPA brought up a really good comment. I do need to have a third party value the asset retirement obligation from a discounted standpoint. So right now, what I did, and I had to use a judgment call. If I had discounted it, then I could have discounted it wrong. Why? I'm not a CPA. I'm also not a certified valuation analyst or a CVA, which is a subdivision license. So I'm neither of those things. So I made what I believe was the most appropriate decision, which was to overstate the liability, knowing that the asset retirement credit was an offsetting asset that would also reduce when the discounted cash flow was applied. If I had run a discounted cash flow, the biggest factor or fixed input, and I know how to run discounted cash flow. We can do this together. I will run one and then provide that to a CVA or CPA. But where I could have understated my liability and obligation is I could have put a lower discount rate in there. So I could have used a percentage that is more realistic for my situation. My situation would require a 3% because a discount rate is going to be your credit adjusted I'm sorry. I have no debt. When I say me and I say I'm coming from a very defensive place, and I wish that I could correct that permanently. But I come from a defensive place because I'm the one that has to constantly defend myself on behalf of all our shareholders. That's our insiders and our retail shareholders. So we have no debt. Are we going to assume a little?
But that's not true, right? Let me pull this up. Yep. Let's go look at these financials again. Disclosures. Quarterly report. So long-term notes payable. You know what we call long-term notes payable? Debt. See, that's the problem. Is like there's debt. So you've got a long-term debt obligation of $180,000. Is that a lot? I mean, not compared to other stuff on this balance sheet. Like the retirement obligation, it's a little scary. But like, you do have debt on your balance sheet. So I don't even know what this discussion is that we're having.
A little bit of bank debt that is in good standing. Yes, it's not a lot of bucks. It's only a couple million. Okay.
Regardless, it is a thing.
I can run on the list too. It's also very well structured, meaning that it's contained. So one debt note isn't senior secured on every EDG transaction, which was led by Kenneth and Eric, and then the LDF. Both combined, one has 300, one has 400. I'd be lying to you if I told you which was which. So now, what do you call that? 1.8 plus 700 grand is $2.5 million in what I would consider to be friendly debt, because the banks don't want our assets, and I'll explain why. The banks don't want our assets because of the large environmental liability that is.
Yep. Which continues to be the problem with this, is like there's a lot of stuff that has to go into this.
What comes with natural resources. The environmental liability doesn't scare me or my shareholders because, as somebody pointed out on the podcast, and something that I've been saying too, I'll only probably realize 0.5 to 1% of that a year. Now, why 0.5 to 1%? It's the calculation on plugged wells, environmental remediation, and this is, let me be clear, when we're talking environmental remediation as far as ARO, that means pre-planned or plugging liability. is something that we say in the industry, right? So plugging liability, meaning I buy my wells for plugging liability, plus some stock. I'm taking over your plugging liability. I will never go bankrupt. I haven't yet. I've come close, okay? I can admit to everybody.
Wow. Is that... So he's...
That I've come very close to bankruptcy over 15 times, and I'm only 39, about to be 40 this year.
I wouldn't brag about that, just saying. But I'm glad we got that out in the open, that basically he's exchanging equity for these kind of degraded wells and basically absorbing all these at the expense of equity shareholders. We had assumed that this was kind of a dumping graveyard for other companies' shitty wells, but to basically come out and say that, bold move, Cotton.
Never go bankrupt, knock on wood, because I know the bankruptcy law like the back of my hand, and I understand how creditors work.
Sure.
And the reason that I'm able to acquire so many businesses like this is because I know how to restructure capital. Now, what does that mean, restructure capital? That means taking vendor debts and converting them into the stock, like we did with Freedom Well Testing, even though Freedom Well Testing ultimately failed because they failed to disclose to me management failure of disclosure or financial representation for a last line lawyer. A last line lawyer is like a last line lender. A last line lender is the guy that you call. I had a big payroll. I was a top sales guy. It was all, I'm not Kyle. Okay, so you know what, Kyle? I'm not going to pursue you for impersonation, Coyote, Platinum, and the Trader Girl. We're going to drop that claim as far as the impersonation is concerned. Pepe, we pursued legal on. And it's not, just so everybody knows, it's not, I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just explaining how I find. Right. I still hate him. I'm still going to sue Nick. And I'm probably going to sue Kyle still, too. And, but, Kyle actually did kind of sway me a little bit tonight. Like I said, people are internet tough guys. So, and guilty as charged. So, I spoofed, and I didn't even know you could do this, but apparently you can spoof an email address and you can spoof a telephone number. I had no idea. And they call it like a burner.
I don't even fucking care about this.
So, except Kyle, you motherfucking ugly ass. Whatever. I will go into AZRH Holdings for 1 second. So bear with me here. So the Series B, that does actually happen quite a bit. Is it something that I love? No. Like, why would I say that? Yeah, I love that somebody can convert a preferred share that's one share that's held by a party into 2% of the company at that point in time. I hate it, but I love AZRH Holdings. They're one of the best custodian groups. They've returned a lot of shareholder value to a lot of companies. Do I love the fact, and this is also something too, so Kyle brought up a good point about related parties. So I actually bought AZRH on credit with AZRH Holdings with a little bit of a down payment and then a little bit of monthly payments, and then I absorbed the debt.
Okay, the problem... The problem isn't that, well, I mean, the problem is that it's there if you choose to invest. But the thing is that the problem that they had with the 2% is it's horribly dilutive, but that sort of risk should be disclosed to shareholders more clearly. I think was the general problem with all these like dilution mechanisms is like as was pointed out, you kind of have to dig. Like that was what Kyle and what Running with Bears was pointing out. You have to kind of dig to understand the capital structure of this company, and you shouldn't have to do that. The whole point of a 10K or even a 10Q is to make pretty darn clear what all of the problems are and what all the good things are, so that someone could come to a reasonable understanding of if they want to invest in the company or not. The problem with the financial statements here is that a lot of things are not very clearly communicated. That is, I think, the issue that Running with Bears and Kyle came in running into a lot with those financial statements. You know, putting aside that none of us would probably invest in this company. That was the big issue. Trying to understand what's going on with this company is not clearly communicated in the financial statements.
Onto the public shareholders of AZRH, and we're going to facilitate what's called a 3810. I've also told people about this. This is not the first time that people have heard this. So a 3810 allows me to convert a debt that's assumed by a public company. So that would, yeah, there are some related party stuff that would constitute. Am I running my expenses on a debit card? No, I'm not stupid, man. Like, come on, give me a little more credit than that. You're talking to a guy that's 39 years old, about to be 40, you know, and like we said too, right? I did say that the house was $3 million value. You said 1.4 on Zillow. It's actually 1 month, and then
just don't care about
everybody's
that.
trying to make money on behalf of shareholders so that we can all grow together. That's really what the OTC was founded on. That's why I started investing in the OTC when I was young. Well, I take it back. I actually started investing in the OTC, completed a Vice consulting deal. So I never worked directly for Vice. I worked directly for the CFO and supported, was I the lead guy in the deal? Never claimed to be. So, okay, inventory. There's 2 types of inventory. So the 100, I'm sorry, I don't have the financials in front of me, and, you know, that is kind of ridiculous. I'm the CEO.
Oh, well, that just kind of fucking kills me right there. Like, if you're going to do a rebuttal and you can't even have the financials and everything organized in front of you to talk about what... Oh, my goodness. See, this is the thing that kills me. This is the thing that kills me about this guy. Yeah, he did. And if you can believe, like, that was what, how much into that video? That was 18 minutes into that first 25-minute video, and there's another 25-minute video after that. Like, right then, when he just says that he just doesn't have the financials in front of him, I've been communicated to about as much as we're going to get out of that. I'm not going any further. Because, obviously, he's not really... He's running quick cleanup, and he's not really taking the situation seriously. If anything, you probably should have waited a couple days and come up with a clean response. But whatever. His company, not mine. So yeah, I think I will call it a night there. I thought I was going to go on longer, but like when you communicate to me that's like, hey, I want to respond to all your statements that you're there, but I'm not going to have my own financials in front of me to talk about the stuff you were talking about. When we took the time, a whole like 30 to 40 minutes, and went through those financial statements. That's just fucking sad. Anyway, so I've got work in the morning, so I think this is probably a good place to call it a night at. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll have Josh on and we can actually talk about the financials on Saturday, along with our other guests. It should be really interesting. We're going to have actual oil professionals in that conversation, so it should be a good conversation. But I think that'll do it for tonight. Y'all